Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present, and future. Good morning, everybody. It is August the 5th, 2024. If you're listening to this on the Beacon app, on Spotify, on YouTube, please don't forget to tag, share, subscribe, let people know that this platform exists because it is a small business and your memberships and your support really helps me to be able to bring more resources to you to help you spiritually grow, support your mental health and just be there for you in a way that I can, which is through the app, which is available to everybody everywhere in the world. All you need to do is search Soul 33 on your app stores and then go from there. We have had quite a week, and as I mentioned to you last week, during the Monday Mantra, there's a lot going on in August. And I had a lot of downloads with clients last week that has helped me make sense of the cryptic puzzles that sometimes Spirit gives me in order to piece things together to understand what we need to know for our soul progression. We still, if you're listening to this on Monday, we still have, or Sunday, depending if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we still have the energy of the new moon. And I found myself dreaming on Saturday, talking about my dreams, what I'm wanting. And that is because that is the energy at the moment to help us reevaluate our dreams. If you are listening to this, and there's still, by Tuesday, you probably want to stop doing new moon meditations, but go on the app and do a new moon meditation in the moon phase section of the app and help yourself intend. Because we are in Mercury retrograde now, and we talked about upgrades in communication last week, which is what I'm going to be discussing with you now, what all that meant. The Monday mantra I set for last week was, my communication is upgraded. I will allow alchemy to transform. And when I said this, I had to really figure out what Spirit was talking about. We have changed months now, and as we know, the months tend to go by quickly, and we want to make the most of the energy so that we are able to release any suffering and create understanding about what life is asking of us, because we're all not here walking around blindly. We are seeking more of who we are. And I loved that Spirit brought the word alchemy in because it was turning what we have into something more. And I asked you all to nominate a piece of jewelry or a coin, and I used the silver dollar that someone had given, which was from Mexico, as my metal, because I knew silver can be turned into gold. I wanted to go from something that was a base metal that could be transformed into something more, and I've got it up on my altar, which I can still see now. As I was working with clients last week, there were a few themes that were coming up, which I'm going to be talking to you about. And this upgrade in communication is also related to verbal communication, but more of our internal communication, our personality versus our soul. I had a lot of things coming up, and this is now when I set this Monday mantra, I didn't even actually recall that the Olympics were going to be happening at this time. And those of you who I haven't been watching any of it. Not that I have, I used to watch it a lot when I was a child, but I haven't been watching any of it this time. But there's been a lot of controversy with a few of the things that are happening, and you go Google that and YouTube that and decide what you want to buy into. But I was having this come up before all the controversy came up. The clients who saw me last week, even though I don't consciously remember, there was a lot of talk from Spirit about gender. There was a lot of talk about pedophilia. There was a lot of talk around, the thumb has come up, which is because I've got my thumb up. There's a lot of talk around discrimination and healing this. So it was actually coming up with clients as the topic for healing, But then it was coming up collectively also because it's a big topic with the Olympics, which is such a huge global event. And when I was recording the podcast with Emilio a couple of weeks ago, or last week, or whenever it was, I think 2 weeks ago now, which will come out when he's ready to put it out, Spirit had told me there was going to be a lot of stuff happening in the Middle East. Now, I always focus on the positive things that we can work on because we are here at this stage of our soul's progression to be looking at what we can do. I don't tend to focus on those things because I feel like it brings in more fear. And I know that with me personally, I personally don't like to hear things because I want to know exactly how I feel about it. And this upgrade in communication was about us deciding how we are going to be communicating with ourselves and receiving that information, again, communication from Spirit as to what we're meant to be doing with what we're doing for ourselves. Because it's like when we meditate, it's communication, it's that connection. And that is the upgrade that they were meaning in terms of the Monday mantra last week. It's the internal foundation of where we are at with our internal dialogue, because this is why I tell clients not to speak to me when I first meet them, because I don't want to hear anybody's personality. I want to hear what Spirit and their soul is having to say, because the communication is usually not in alignment. Therefore, I was getting all this information around gender, pedophilia, all that kind of stuff was coming up. And because this was in the soul line and the ancestral DNA that needed to be healed. So it may be coming up for you in some way without it being a source to be a victim in any way, but using that energy to heal and transform everybody. Because whether we like it or not, there is all of this that's going on in the world. And in some people's lives, it's going to be more apparent. But for me, spiritually, they are big topics that are coming up. And I believe this is why the Olympics has brought this up, this chaos to discuss. And, I mentioned that this month is about chaos and reward. And I get it now. We're only in the first week of August, why they said that. As we go into this week's Monday Mantra, I'll explain it a little bit more. But we know there's things there's happening in the Middle East. We know there's chaos with gender and chaos with pedophilia and all of that. And it's all in connection with the Olympics situation and what people are talking about, what the media is talking about. But it is coming up spiritually before all of that came up to the surface. So I knew it was a collective thing. I was actually saying to my best friend earlier in the week, I said, I'm getting these topics. And then when all of this happened, we were like, that's why you are getting these topics, because it's something that is needing to be healed in all of us. August being this powerful month of chaos for reward. We know there's war going on, and it could be internal war, it's global war, it's war against the genders, it's war, whatever. But there is money in war when you look at actual physical war. And I learned that what Spirit was meaning through chaos for reward is we're focusing on the positive rewards, but there are people that are doing things and saying things to reap rewards that are more of a selfish nature, which could have a financial repercussion or a bigger agenda or whatever. As we move through this month and this week, we've got the Lionsgate portal coming up. And going back to that new moon energy and the positive side of alchemizing what we have, we want to be able to go through this portal, bringing in this lineup, this alignment, the alignment of the personality, the alignment of the soul, the alignment of what we're wanting to create in our world. And I know this is not disregarding what's going on and the suffering that's going on everywhere else in the world, but we are here, and if we lift the vibration, it lifts the vibration of everybody else, because we're at a different stage of our soul's journey. The mind. I talked about the mind and using it wisely last week, because this is what Spirit asked us to focus on. And I found it fascinating that I said this. We need to use our minds really wisely as a tool to alchemize rather than to despise. And I was thinking, why would they use the word despise? But look what's happening in the world. Like the messages that are coming out, there's polarity again, like there always will be in the world, where some believe this and some strongly in this, and each to their own. But in the middle of it, there shouldn't be anything to despise one another. We can all agree to disagree and just allow that polarity to happen, because the world needs polarity in order for it to move forward, as long as no one's being hurt or we're not being nasty. It's like being in a relationship with someone who doesn't fully believe in everything that you do but are open to it. That's actually a really good way to be, because we're not in an echo chamber then just listening to everything that we believe and not hearing other opinions or other sides of the story. The mind for me was very full. It was I was battling with my mind a lot, coming back to my soul's knowing and what I felt in my heart. And I mentioned also last week around the bodily changes. This actually really fascinated me also, because I brought up teeth the week before, like, as an analogy. It was so funny. I've got an electric toothbrush, which I just opened like a month ago, like opened up from the box. And then a couple of weeks ago, Spirit showing me like, just get another one. And I was thinking, I'm not going to get another one. I just opened this. And guess what broke down on me over the weekend? My electric toothbrush. And it's funny because it was the teeth analogy, but it's like, okay, you're going back to manually brushing your teeth for a while. And then last week they brought up the physical changes in the body, which I'm feeling greatly in many, many ways, and having to pay attention to what the body was telling me, but also connecting that back to the mind. So my question to you is, what was your body showing you last week? Like, I work pretty much every day because there's so many things that I do, but on Saturday, I just, I set your homework and did what I had to do, which is my commitment to you, but I wasn't able to do anything else. And I realized that the body had low energy and needed to be in that space of relaxation, which they're telling me now was a form of meditation. And that fluctuation that that is happening is that internal chaos trying to find a new balance so that we can alchemize from that balance. I'm hearing also that some people who are listening to this may need a heavy metal detox, and this can be in a formal way. I believe, there are naturopaths in the world that do this, but also just kidneys and liver being detoxified. I believe this was also coming up with clients last week. And with Mercury retrograde now for most of the month, we want to come back to alignment and not be so conflicted with the mind, because if we haven't got control of our mind, which can be hard sometimes when hormones are fluctuating, we don't want to be making rash decisions. Allow extra time to think. Allow extra time to process. And remember, any delays, even if they're delays that happen naturally out of your control, or delays like I'm just taking a delay right now and pausing this so I can come back to that state of relaxation, is all for you to have a better result. As we move through the week, the card of grounded came up, and Spirit gave me the brief message that we need to stay on our course while everything is unfolding for us. Staying the course means allowing the upgrades, which can mean taking a bit of downtime where it's possible for you. I know people have busy lives with children and obligations, but without leaving the ground. I always tell my clients, I work all day, my head's in the clouds. I'd love to stay there all day, but the reality of it is that I'm choosing to have a human life also and do normal day-to-day things, which means I come back onto the ground and then I'm like, oh, here we go. I need to deal with what's coming up in my mind and what's happening in my body. The alchemy that came in last week, remember all of the themes, like the teeth thing will come in, the body thing, it's all throughout the month. It's just that I break it down weekly so we have something to focus on. But the alchemy that's coming in throughout this whole month, which I've discussed from last week's Monday mantra, is that what is happening inside the body is what's going to alchemize. and transform into something more, because the vessel that grounds us is our human body, but we are also energetically changing as well. We need to stay grounded, stay the course, but allow that life force energy, the upgrade that we receive from the universe and the cosmic energies that are coming in with all the different astrological events, and not skip those parts because we can't accelerate things, but use that alchemy as a process to grow while staying grounded. The extended meaning of the Monday mantra. Alchemy is in your favor when you allow the truth to be revealed of what can be created. And I was thinking, what do they mean by this? When I saw clients last week, people were forgetting the truth of their power. And this is the power in a good way and power in a way that is manipulative also. And I think we can all say that we have somehow manipulated in our lives, whether it's through being a victim or saying things that are going to draw a response from someone or whatever, triggering somebody. But we need to know what we can create. And remember, we are focusing on the light aspects, and we can create whatever we want through the power of the mind, because the mind sets the tone for the vibration, and the vibration is what is alchemized to transpire that creation into our lives. So there's whatever I just said is what the alignment is that is taking place. What can you create in your life based on what you have? And how is your mind being an inhibiting factor where you actually need to now control the mind to bring you what you want? The basis of who you are, not who anybody else is going to be the elixir for that regeneration. Because we're in Mercury retrograde, and whether you believe in Mercury retrograde or not, I'm talking about just the energy in general of reevaluation, regeneration. And we can see by the global events, people are bringing up topics. It's like an old type of regeneration, because if we think of the topics that I brought up, gender and pedophilia, while I'm not going to go into those topics, they are something that have been through humanity since the beginning of time, and they're coming up for you to decide how you're going to be and what you are, and using that as your elixir of life, which ties into all the honey and nectar energy that we had the month before when I was in India. When I spoke to clients last week, everyone's regeneration was having to come back to the truth of who they were, accepting the truth of the power, because people I saw were in situations where they felt stuck, they felt alone, they felt even some situations where people have got everything, but then they weren't dealing with the shadow sides of things, which would manifest if they weren't, it wasn't brought to their awareness that it was there. Everyone's truth is different. This is why there's always polarity. But we must be able to handle our truth so that we can regenerate our lives and our physical bodies. I think this is a very, very important month, and we are going to be seeing more people driving up these old topics, which are going to be triggering things in us, because they most certainly have been topics of conversation for me that Spirit is naturally bringing up to help clients heal from that. But remember, it is all for our soul expansion. And this is how we have to look at it when we are triggered with anything in our lives, is that it's here for us to learn, for us to understand, for us to heal, and for us to transmute, not to keep those old things. And healing is continuous. It's even with me, things come up and I have to go, okay, what is this about? Why am I thinking this? Why am I feeling this? There's a lot to unpack there, especially if you're paying attention to all the global events. But I look at it briefly, and then I look at what I can do. Like on Saturdays was a very powerful day for me because of everything that I felt like doing. I gave energy to different areas of my life through my meditation, and globally also to help everyone heal in all of these topics that are coming up. Okay. Now, remember, I'm always here for you, and I'm doing my very best to provide whatever services and resources for everyone's income levels to be able to receive some sort of healing or guidance or support. And I am only one person, and I thank you for your understanding and the patience that is required for, seeing me. And if you are wanting to go on a wait list, which is the best thing to do because it's always the right time when your appointment shows up, Kieran is the person to go on a wait list. But remember, more immediate services are soul magics, mini readings, and personalized meditations. And loads of you have been asking for those, and they're great ways to just sort of tie things over. Not the personalized meditations, they're an investment for you to keep using the energy at that time that I'm giving you through the frequency that I record for that entire track, which is specifically for you, because we're all at different levels, all at different frequencies, and you will need your own particular one. Most people will ask me to come up with whatever and decide what is right for them. But if you have a topic in mind also, you're welcome to ask for that. But usually as I work, it's best for me to just channel through what you need at the time and then have your different parts of meditations that help you heal all the different areas of your life. And also your subscriptions to the app. This has been such a time and financial investment for me, but I'm committed to having this for the rest of my life and beyond my life, whoever will take over after I'm gone. And your subscriptions, I keep them as affordable as possible. This is why we have the link outside of the app stores, because the app stores take such a huge amount. So if you're needing to renew or become a member, email Kieran and she will talk you through how to do that. soul33@gmail.com. And first, also, thank you to those. Kieran was so pleased. It was her birthday last week on the 1st. And so many of you emailed her to say happy birthday. And thank you for doing that, because she honestly is such an asset and amazing support to me here at Soul 33. And she works into the night or whatever is necessary. So she really appreciated that. So thank you so much. She's not much of a talker, but she just, I wanted to say thank you for making her feel special. Okay, we're going into this week's Monday mantra. Wealth is my ability to reevaluate and recreate. Wealth is my ability to reevaluate and recreate. Remember I talked to you about the negative sides of wealth, like, there wouldn't be war in the world if somebody wasn't making money. There wouldn't be other things in the world if somebody wasn't being rewarded. We are using the positive side of that, where we have the ability to create wealth by having the ability to reevaluate and recreate our lives. It is a time of reevaluation of what wealth means to us. And we have these portals opening up, especially on the 8th of the 8th, which is helping us to create all forms of abundance. I was having the discussion over the weekend is, what does wealth mean to me? For me, wealth means having the freedom to decide how I want to live my life and spend my days and whom I want to spend it with, and have some time to do all the things that I want to do. That is wealth for me. And obviously we all need financial wealth also, and that comes into this week's equation as well. While there is war going on in many forms all over the world, we need to focus on what we can do in our lives to lift the vibration. What can you do? I see many people who have healing gifts. If this is something that you're wanting to step into it. And it doesn't need to be in a way that you're building this big business, and it's about focusing on what you can do to calm the war within, calm the war without. We have 888. This is why your August meditation it's for August of every year going forward. But I brought in and kept the energy of the 888 because we've got the 8th day of the 8th month of the 8th year of the 8th this year. And that Krishna consciousness, many people got the Krishna card last week when I was doing the cards for them during their sessions. If you were one of them, it's because you are in alignment for what you're needing to heal and progress. And with this Lionsgate portal, Sirius, which is associated with the qualities of Jupiter and Mars, which is bringing this expansive Jupiter energy and luck energy, because we are focusing on the positive vibrations in life. Mars is bringing in passion, but Mars is also the planet of aggression and war. So then that made sense to me, because I'm not an astrologer, but it made sense to me why Spirit had told me months ago that there's going to be chaos this month. We're being asked to look at the connections between everything. How is whatever chaos happening in your life leading you to more reward? Because in our individual lives, whatever's been chaotic is actually leading us to more reward in an uplifting way, whereas there are sinister things going on in the world, okay? But look at the chaos in the mind, look at the chaos in your life, whatever is going on and whatever that means to you, there is going to be a reward. Spirit is asking us to understand the connection between both of those things, because they are polarizing things. You might find it's a time of clearing things out. It could be physical clearing, as we are kind of doing a stock take of our lives. It could be just the stock take of our lives. But if you're wanting to physically clear things out, do that, because we are making space and we're needing to hold the space of what's coming in for us. Angels are coming in this week also through signs and miracles. So look at what comes in. I'm excited about looking at what comes in this week with this portal energy, but I'll also be keeping one eye on what's going on globally, so I understand the other side of the messages that I receive for all of us during these Monday mantras. There is much wealth and abundance to be reaped, but be clear on what wealth means to you. How would wealth look like to you? Actually sit and write that down this week. What does it look like to me? What does wealth look like to me? The card that Spirit gave me before I came on, because I often sit and I close my eyes and go, okay, what is it that you are wanting us to see and know this week? And they gave me the Star Tarot card. And if we think about it, the Star Tarot card is about renewal. It's all the words at the moment: regenerate, recreate, renew, review, revise. And the Star card is, this ability for us to nourish what brings us wealth. It represents having one foot here on the ground and this is why the grounded card comes up, and one foot in the cosmos, knowing that we have this ability to bring in that through the communication upgrade with Spirit, to bring in the wealth that we're looking for. So I love that this card came up, because we know that through any turmoil, through any war, there has been this challenge, and parts of us have been despising other people and finding this part of us that doesn't feel worthy, or that's been hurt as through our ancestral line, or through our soul blueprint of being hurt as children. It's all now coming back to this pure energy of connection, pure consciousness expanding. The souls are ready to expand this week. And I love that card came up. And how it also relates to this week is that even if there is confusion, that is okay, because that mental chaos is collective. And we are being asked to slow down, reevaluate, recreate, review, look at the signs and the miracles that are coming in from our angels that support us. And while energetically it may not be a time of signing anything new or bringing on anything new, it's going to give us that time and that space to be able to know what we want on our path. I was listening to a podcast over last week, and the lady's name was Bronnie, Bronnie, Ware, Ware. And she talks, I don't know why I'm suddenly bringing this up, but she talks about the 5 regrets of the dying. And, whatever I'm drawn to listen to, I know there's a bigger message in it. And it's really important that we know that we're doing the best that we can in our lives, so that we do not have any regrets, that we are allowing ourselves to live in the state of devotion, that we know there's a bigger force that is helping us, but we have so much control over what we want our lives to look like and how powerful we are to create that. Energetically, we want to be able to harness all of this power this month for the good, not for the destruction of anything. Your path is being cleared, and I feel like this reevaluation of life, not having the 5 regrets of the dying have at that point on their deathbed. And I used to think about this, and I still do. Like, I don't have a problem talking about death because I want to make sure that I'm living my life being the best version of me. That doesn't mean things are not difficult. Sometimes they are. But I always come back finding, what can I intend? What can I dream? And I actually said the words, let's talk about our dreams today. Let's talk about what we want. And it was quite a beautiful opportunity to intend that, and having that infinite power 8 on our side, knowing that our souls are expanding and we're gaining momentum for new insights into who we are, and the parts of us that have been holding back around our beliefs on our gender, our beliefs on our sexuality, our beliefs on all of those things that are coming up in the world as a collective. And it's not to take sides, it's just, what do you feel? What do you need to heal around that? I'm going to take a moment now to empower all of us with this energy. So as long as you're not driving, just close your eyes for a minute. And we're going to bring in the power of the 8. We're going to bring in for you the star of renewal, with your 1 foot on earth and your head knowing that it is clear, bringing in the energetic communication upgrades from the universe, knowing that we are going to be utilizing Mars to be passionate in our energy, but not destructive. Unfortunately, not everybody knows that power, that we do not need to be destructive. We're coming back to a place of self-love and clearing all the old hurt and pain from our souls and from our history, with the memories of our ancestral traumas of those who have been hurt because of gender, those who have been hurt as children, and for all of those that are hurting in the world, we send them this ability to understand how their souls are expanding from their experiences and healing for all of them. Remember, if you need me, there are many ways to connect, and thank you for your patience and understanding that I'm also a person that has things happening in my life, and I'm learning. I'm on this journey with you. And Kieran is the person to email soul33@gmail.com if you need any help or any queries, or don't suffer in silence with IT issues either. Please let Kieran know so that we can solve things for you. Your Monday mantra: understand what wealth means to you. What are you creating? Be really clear and aware of that, because we have a lot more power over what we're creating than what you think. Wealth is my ability to reevaluate and recreate. Being in that position is amazing, that we have that power to do that. Some people don't have that in their soul cycle at the moment. Wealth is my ability to reevaluate and recreate. Sending you a very, very powerful Lion's Portal week.